I've been very blessed over the years to work with some great people. You know, being in Los Angeles, I feel like it's kind of the center of the universe in many ways, that just so many people come in and out of LA. I had the Red Power Ranger, Steve Cardenas, working with me for years. I had Danny Tartabull as a rep in my office. He was a New York Yankee for 20 years and on Seinfeld. And so just some real interesting people. The twin brother of Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. I have to remember the movie. So interesting having the twin brother of Pedro out in the field. And, you know, can you bake me a cake or something? Like he'd use that sometimes in the field. But nonetheless, I had a rep named Charles Roberts working with me. And so Charles was interesting. He went to Sacramento State, had a great career in football. He was in the CFL for, I want to say, 8 years, had over 10,000 rushing yards, almost 4,000 receiving yards. And I think he averaged 5.4 yards per carry or something like that. You can look up the stats. And so one of the things that I've always found interesting with people and their backgrounds, like, hey, what did you learn from your previous profession that you're bringing into this? And so, you know, Charles would always say, hey, listen, us football players, especially us running backs, man, we've all got amnesia. And I'm thinking, oh man, concussions, you know, you get hit in the head. He goes, no, we intentionally all have short-term memory. He says, think about it, Jamie. You fumble the ball, you know, you turn the ball over, you're on the sideline. You could sit there and dwell on that for a long time. And then when it's time to get back out there, you fumble again. He says, you know what? Within a matter of seconds, you forget that play even happened. It's super important to protect your confidence, protect your attitude, protect your mindset. So I want to go back to my time in Los Angeles in Grant Dean's office. I want to share this video here with you guys. But the question was asked, how do you rebuild your confidence? Okay, when you get hit, when things go wrong, how do you get back up? I love the John Maxwell saying, I'm either up or I'm getting up, but I'm never down. Love that saying. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. You just look for some wins. You just get some, not big wins. I don't need to hit a home run. If I'm in a batting slump, I just need to get on base. Heck, if I even get hit by a ball, but as long as I get on base, that's better than getting out.
Yeah.
So it's just those little wins. It's interesting how, you know, momentum is a funny thing. I've learned this about momentum. You know, John Maxwell talks about it. He calls it the great exaggerator. Momentum is the great exaggerator. When you have negative momentum, you look worse than you really are. When you have positive momentum, you look better than you really are. So it's interesting. Is that a true statement? Like when you have negative momentum, you look worse than you really are? Think about it. Times in your life where you've got negative momentum, yeah, you look like you just totally suck. And when you got positive momentum, it looks like everything you touch and turns to gold, but you know that's not true. You know that you're human. So yeah, momentum is kind of tricky that way. So if you're living in the path of negative momentum, okay, well, if I want to turn that ship around, it starts with the rudder, at least helping me get in the right direction. Let me just get some little wins. Little wins. You know, I've been coaching Little League Baseball for years. Can't tell you how many times, you know, we're down 5-0 or something like that, and the kids are already, you know, admitting defeat almost. It's like, listen, just get on base. Right? So one kid gets on base, okay, we got a runner on first. And the kids are still on the like, oh, well, that doesn't matter, we're down 5-0. All of a sudden now there's a runner on first and second. Well, heck, if we got the batter home, it's now 5-3, it's a different ball game. All of a sudden that guy gets a hit, 2 runs scored, now it's 5-2, that guy's on second base. All the kids are like, okay, we're in this, we're back in this game. I want to say earlier this week, the Cleveland Indians were down, like 12-0 or something like that. I was watching this on SportsCenter, they're down 12-0.
Wow.
They had a 12-run 6th inning, and they ended up winning the ball game 13-12.
That's crazy.
But what an awesome game that would have been to be at. My son and I, he had to write a report. Tell me if this sounds familiar, the comeback on Catella. Do any of you know the comeback on Catella? Okay, so if you Googled it, you'd find it. So we were at a Ducks playoffs game in 2017. So it's playoffs against the Oilers, game 5. The Oilers are up 3-0 with 3 minutes left in the game. Half the fans spilled out of the arena, rightfully so, beat traffic, you know, whatever, game's done. But my son and I, I spent, you know, hundreds of dollars on these tickets. We're going to milk it for everything that it has to offer. All of a sudden they scored 1 goal with, again, 3 minutes left, so it's 3-1. They scored again. Bottom line, they scored to tie it up with 15 seconds left. And they never do this. Once you leave an arena in hockey, it's a one way out. You can't get back in. But because it was a televised playoff game, they had a bunch of guys with these big, whatever they are, megaphones. It's tied up, get back in the arena. Because I went down, I sat right on the ice thinking, there's only like 6,000 fans left in the arena. We're going to watch the rest of the game from here. We got booted out because the arena got full again for overtime. But again, it ain't over till it's over. I mean, that's just, sports has taught us this lesson so many times. That was just one game I went to where my son learned hardcore, like, it ain't over till it's over. So if you've got the negative momentum, you just need those little blips of positive stuff, and you keep going, eventually it becomes positive momentum, and next thing you know, you're looking back at that little slump that you were in. It's always interesting. I kept a journal. I've been journaling for 25 years or something like that now. And it's interesting when I look back at slumps in my life. It's interesting because it's like, so what was I thinking back then? And like, was I discouraged? Was I bummed out? Like, what was all happening? Because those discouraging times eventually came to an end. Like, nothing's permanent. The only thing that's permanent is quitting. That was one thing I always heard. Like, listen, you don't bounce back from quitting, but you can bounce back from adversity. You bounce back from rejection, but you don't bounce back from quitting. But so there'll be windows in your life where you're just losing, and everything you touch turns to crap, so to speak. Just get the positive momentum, get the little wins. And so let's just even say, let's bring it down to a sales level. There were many times where I'm like, okay, I'm not even trying to get numbers anymore. I'm just gonna make 40 people laugh today. Okay, yesterday was a brutal day, I got creamed. I just need to go in the field and have fun, and how I'm gonna measure that is I wanna see 40 sets of teeth. I don't just wanna see lips, I wanna see like teeth, I wanna see people laughing. I wanna say something to get them to laugh. And by me just doing that, turn the rudder in the right way. Oh, now I'm having a good time. People want to talk to me. Oh, there's easy sales to be had in the field. Go figure. Where were these guys yesterday? So again, you get the momentum by getting the little win. Focus on those little wins. They turn into big wins. Probably the best sports example of all time was the New England Patriots coming back from 28-3. I mean, there's all kinds of footage. You go on YouTube and see the dialogue on the sidelines where Brady's telling the team, right, it's third quarter, we're down 28-3. What an embarrassing, loss in the Super Bowl that we're getting just annihilated here. And he's not talking about let's win the game. He's talking about, okay, on our next offensive drive, we're scoring. Field goal, touchdown, whatever, like we're getting on the board. So he was just focusing on just little win. He got the little win. Then they got another little win. Then next thing you know, those of us watching the game were like, Patriots gonna win this. They kept getting the 2-point conversions. I think they got it 3 different occasions, the 2-point conversions. Like they just couldn't do anything wrong in the end of the third and the fourth quarter. And then in overtime, they ended up winning the game 34-8. And the ring that they all have, right, all the players, if you want to look this up, it may be interesting to take a look at these rings. The rings all have 283 diamonds in them to commemorate the 28-3 comeback. 283 little diamonds in each ring that these players wear. So again, just talk about momentum. I mean, that's all that really is. They had horrible momentum, and then they turned it around.